G'day guys, BlackPanthaa here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. So, normally I would do this kind of stuff post-com, and I thought this might be better if we do it in live-com, for the reason that it's just more, I don't know, it's just more genuine in a way. So, we're going to be driving around doing random races just so I can show you things as I do it, for example. But we're talking about what I like and dislike about this Need for Speed. This is the video, guys. You've been waiting for it. Now, just a little bit of a backstory before we get into it, because I want people to know my exact stance before jumping into this game and that sort of thing. So, Need for Speed is my favourite racing game series, and the reason it is because Underground Modes wanted carbon, like the majority of people. I didn't really like the originals, and I didn't like the ones after it. The Run was pretty good, Rivals was okay, Most Wanted 2012 was okay, but it was, to be honest, Need for Speed, not. Rivals was not a Need for, like, they were not Need for Speed games. So, that was my stance. I completely destroyed, like, I just sent so many shots and just called the game shit in so many videos over and over again. And like, if you follow me for ages, you'll know. Just search Rivals BlackPanthaa, and you will find the most shitstorm stuff you will ever like see on anything. I laid into that game because I was not happy. So, same with Most Wanted 2012, because it was basically like trying to rip people off into. We'll not get into that. But anyway, so. Yeah, Need for Speed, they then invited me to Ghost. This was at the start of the year. We already know this if you follow me. If you don't, they invited me. They invited a few people, including like Car Throttle, for example, and a few other YouTubers. And we basically sold the game in a very, very, very early stage. We got to give our inputs, just basically, you know, assist in shaping what the game was going to go like and end up like in the end. And they showed us it, and they explained what they have, the plans, and you know what our thoughts on it were. It was the first trip out of country on my own. It was terrifying, but also amazing. I got to meet the developers and just everything. If you want to see a video on that, I'll link that down below. But anyway, into the actual thing. So, as you can imagine, seeing this game early, and I couldn't tell anyone about it. It was so difficult, because I've been waiting for a solid Need for Speed since, like, I say solid, in meaning a good Need for Speed, since 2008. So that Undercover was my favourite last Need for Speed, and after that it was like, every now and again it was alright. Most of the time it was total shit. And then, you know, it came out, it was announced that I could speak about more and more and over time, and we get to here. The game is out. I've seen a lot of it, I've put a lot into it in a way, like my own thoughts and opinions, and just, it feels as if like the whole journey, like the reason my channel solely exists is because I was screaming how I don't like Need for Speed in its current form. So to now be playing this game, you can understand why I'm so excited about this thing. Now, is it perfect? No, of course it's not. I'm not saying it's the most perfect racing game in the world, but to me, it's the closest we have right now to perfect. And, you know, this and Wild Run, they're going to fit hand in hand together and be perfect for just me playing in general and for the channel and just everything. I prefer arcade racers. So now you know a little bit more about me. That's probably like half the video. There's probably not that much. Let's actually get this collectible here. We're going to get into a list I have here. I've got a list so I don't forget anything, so it's going to be a little bit off-putting when I look. But anyway, the first is the good. Now, Cheesy Story is back. Now, if you don't know, there's characters in Need for Speed. I'm not going to spoil anything here, don't worry. But basically, these characters contact you, give you missions throughout the game. As you can see on the side, we've got missions there. We've got missions on the map, the icons. Basically, characters and story is back. Amazing. I'm so happy about this. Rivals had a story. It was actually pretty dark. It was pretty okay. But actual characters being back, I salute you, Ghost Games. Thank you so much for putting that in. Now, the reason I say I like the cheesy story, most people loved Most Wanted. Most people loved Carbon. The stories were cheesy as shit. If you go back to that game, it's just pure cheese. Like, in the purest form. And I love it. It was just so fitting and cool and exciting, and they've done it again here. Like, they say Bay in the cutscenes. It's cheesy, it's fun, it's a game. I love it. Anyway, so, story, definitely very good. Not the best, it's not like anything like GTA's story, it's not like anything next level, but it does make you want to keep going and find out more about the characters, and that, to me, is a good story. So, if you want to know about the characters, it's a good story. Anyway, next up, the car selection. So, car selection, very varied. We should go back to the garage and show you this. I've already made a video specifically on all the cars in the game. You can see what cars are available in the game. But the varied selection is very good. Some areas are a little bit sparse. Muscle cars, I wish there were a few more. But everything else, they've got it really spot on. I can't really show you because, you know what, we're going to have to get rid of this Camaro. It's fine. People know I was going to get rid of it anyway in the Let's Play. It doesn't matter. We can build it back if we need to. Anyway, so I'm going to show you. There's a very, very varied selection. So you can start off with like some crazy sleeper cars, and then we get to the tuner cars, and we get to some classic muscle cars. You get to the BRZ GT86, that sort of thing. There's a very varied selection. You go through European, Porsches. They've got the Porsche license, of course. You've got your new Beamers, your old Beamers, your Nissans. Anything you can want is basically in this if you're a tuner person. The only thing that's really, really missing is like the 370, 350Z. I can't really think off the top of my head much else that's like really popular that's missing. So anyway, what's next? Customization. That's back. Skyline. Let's show you the Skyline. So you can now customize your car, which is the biggest deal ever. There's been... Being a person that's made videos screaming like we want customization, that sort of thing, to people, they'd be like, oh no, it's manufacturers don't want customization. And Ghost just hits it out of the park with this. They've got some crazy customizations in here. You can change front bumpers. You can change the stance of your car. You can like lower and higher the ride height. You can change the rims. Like, you can actually legit change manufacturer rims colors on some cars. They've got a vinyl editor in here as well, which I'll talk about more in a second, but just look at this car. Like, you wouldn't really, like, imagine this. I bought this stock. And obviously I've put all the stickers on myself, and the customization, it's very nice. Very, very nice. And I'm glad it's back. I mean, this BMW is an M3 with a body kit on it. That's all I need to say. Customization is back, and that was, like, at the forefront of something that a lot of us were asking for. Now, next up, as I was saying, is the vinyl editor. Let's go into a bit more detail on that. The vinyl editor is the best we've seen in Need for Speed so far. It's a little bit fiddly at times, but it has, like, crazy... I might be biased because my sticker's in the game. It's not because of that. But, like, you can literally put things on the window. You can put things all around the car. You can, like, sometimes, like, get it on the wing mirrors, that sort of thing. It's just... It's the most in-depth vinyl editor there is. Other than, like, it's not really detailed, as in gives you the exact dimensions of things, which I hope to see. And the mirror of the vinyls is coming soon, so people that want to do that can do that soon, so don't worry. But changing the colors specifically, like, you get all... This is the paint customization you get for all vinyls. So, as I said, it's kind of like... It's very good, but it does need a little bit of work, but it is built from the ground up for this game, and it means it's here to stay in the series, which... Brilliant. Next up, selling cars. Now, I know that sounds stupid. We sold the Camaro. It's very stupid to say that this is on my good list, but like some people were saying, oh my god, he's hyped about being able to sell cars. You do realize we haven't been buying or selling cars in Need for Speeds recently, except Rivals. Like, that's why Rivals was like, yeah, so, I mean, it's not the worst game in the world, but, okay, it was buggy and broken, but let's ignore that. But I'm talking about the pure gameplay itself. You could not sell cars. You can now sell cars. And the money in general is balanced, which means, obviously, I can, well, it takes a while to grind up to your favourite cars, which is good, because we don't want to get... The thing is with Most Wanted 2012, you could get into any car straight away. I hate that. Why? Why have all these cars that you're meant to, like, usually in games you'd have to unlock or buy? No. Anyway, so selling and buying cars. Oh, now... This one is a good one. So, this is the handling slider. Now, this is magical. It allows you to tune your car. So, let's talk from like full in depth here. The handling style slider at the top. This is the master slider. I was told about this by Craig. This is something Craig really wanted, which was freaking awesome to me because, you know, he listened a lot. But anyway, all the way to drift. If you want to be like Craig, all the way to grip if you want to basically get a more grippy handling style. So, Now, personally, from my own experience, it does go over the top if you use the slider, if you go too far. Early on, it's not too bad. But not only did they do that, I thought like that was pretty cool in itself. They allow you to go in and tweak every little detail in this handling slider. It's magical. It's beautiful. It's basically like they don't make it over the top difficult. Like anyone can understand this if they take the time to read the descriptions of each one. So you can end up coming like if you want a grip car, you go say you wanted to a very quick build of a grip car, go all the way to grip. And then slowly adjust things like your turning circle to improve it even more. Let me give you an example of that. So you could come up with something that's like completely unique. I notice most people that play the game a lot come up with a unique handling style. And obviously it varies from car to car because each car handles differently. You obviously get this. So here, for example, this is my grip build. I've got more towards grip there, but then at my steering response, I've got more to drift. But it means I've got a wider turning angle and it turns faster. You get the idea. So that's that. The handling slider is probably my favorite addition to the game that I didn't even request. I didn't request tuning, but it's here. And it's perfect. It means you can have the really criterion handling if you want, or if you can make your own up, or you can have black boxy style-ish if it was new handling. Never go full drift or grip. That's a tip. Tune it yourself. Learn to tune it yourself. Now, what is next? Performance upgrades. Don't need to go too in-depth in here, but I'm happy these are here because it was in Rivals, to be fair to Ghost. But it is perfect. It gives you everything you could want. Turbochargers and superchargers for all cars. You've got your electric systems, ignitions, ECUs, engine blocks, camshaft. You've got things in here that you don't even need to know about. And you just throw it in, it does its best. And even better is this. So you've got two types of NOS. In Need for Speeds, there've been two types of NOS every now and again. I couldn't say when, but you get action nitrous. So when you do things like drifting and near misses and jumps, you get NOS. Time nitrous refills over time, and obviously as you go it gives you more NOS and it gives you more tunability of it. Tires, they're a grip and drift. Grip and drift allow you to basically grip more, drift more. You can actually mix and match these obviously if you want to. I would never suggest going full drift or grip. It does kind of go a bit crazy at times, so play around with it and see which is your favorite, and you'll get something that's pretty awesome. But any other than that, you get adjustable handbrakes, adjustable brakes, adjustable sway bars. It's perfect. Gotta say, that's anything can be like the Volvo, for example. This is something that I asked Marcus. For people that don't know, again, me, I'm so passionate about Need for Speed that I wanted a game where you could build up and up and up and up your cars. And Marcus told me there was a future in that ages ago, and it was the most cool thing ever. And I was so scared at the time, but now look at where we are. A Volkswagen GTI or a Volvo, you can get these to over 1,000 horsepower, I think. He listened, they listened, Ghost know what they're doing. They're on the right track again. Next up, another thing, let's get out of the garage to talk about this one. Let's get in the Skyline, because it's my favourite car to drive. It's my master build. That's another good thing as well. The story teaches you about the whole, different categories. It's got different categories for it. And a lot of them get you really into it. Especially the build one. Building your master build and that sort of thing. It really motivates you to put time into your cars, and it makes you really appreciate those cars even more. So anyway, next up I want to talk about was the police obviously being here. They're not Rivals police, which is good because they don't ram you for no reason. You can pay the fine if you don't want to chase them. The police are basically good. They're very good. They're a little bit easy, which I'll talk about soon, but in general, it is a massive step up from Rivals because you can just sit there and not have the police come after you, because that was the problem with Rivals. It was exciting on Edge, but at the same time you couldn't pause the game, which you can't on this one still, which is not really much of an issue because the cops don't come after you. If you finish a race quickly, you can just pull up, go away, come back, and it's fine. Dedicated servers, that's another thing. I'm thinking of some things off the top of my head, but yeah, anyway, cops. Cops can get aggressive. The best situation for this game with the cops would be when you are you're in a pursuit, you're on the full heat level, there's roadblocks everywhere, you can't get past impenetrable roadblocks at some points, and there's other roadblocks that slow you down massively, which is the first time ever in Need for Speed. There's roadblocks you cannot go through, there's no gap. Beautiful, so you have to whip it round and whoa! You have to whip it round. I wasn't expecting that. and you get yourself, well, as you can imagine, a roadblock you can't get through. Spike strips. You can get your on the road, there's spike strips from the cops. You try and drive over those, you lose your tires, game over. That's it. You are in massive trouble, especially if you're in a lower end car. You will have no chance of actually, you know, pulling that back. I mean, you will. It's possible. I've done it. It's just a lot more difficult, and you have to, like, if you have little power, you're already going to struggle much more than you'll ever struggle in this game, and it's magical, and I love that so much. So cops, massive step up, and they're just I don't know, better overall in general. So anyway, next up we also have, I'm going to finish, oh hello.
Hey, how's the ride?
Go away. That's going to be one of my points in a second. Good point is also the 5-car garage. And you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because a lot of people were. Like, when I do read a lot of stuff that's, you know, about me. So much that I shouldn't a lot of the time. Like, people get really insulting for me stating my opinion a lot of the time. And it really winds me up, because the amount that I put my heart into, like, Need for Speed videos, and the reason I did racing games on YouTube was because of Need for Speed, and I wanted to make the game better again for everybody. It irritates me, but anyway, getting off, that's completely off topic. Sorry about that. We have the 5-car garage. 5-car garage. What does it do? Why is it good? It, again, as I said about the customization and the story, it makes you want to get attached to your car. So you choose your favorite car as soon as you can, and you put so much time and effort into it until you master the tune, the performance upgrades, the visuals. Like, it took me so long to get diffusers because I've been doing, like, all the story on a Let's Play, but I was so happy when I got the diffusers. But the 5-car garage, it is good. It makes you more, again, appreciate your cars. It makes you stick to your favorite cars. It makes you really have to think, like, about those fundamental situations in where you've got 5 cars that you like, and you're like, right, which one is most important? Which to me is my baby? And then you sell it, and, you know, you kind of understand. Then you're like, yeah, I don't really miss it. Like, I sold my MX-5. I don't really miss it. And I replaced it with, like, I've got the M3 in there, which I'm still like 50-50 on keeping. But this Skyline, I'm very, very attached to, and it will never be sold. And it just makes more of a thinking game, and you got to, like, sell your cars, and it's a magical combo. Anyway, so that time trial was, like, the easiest thing ever. It must have been a really early one, as you can imagine. But when you've got much, much less power, well, this time we had a lot of power. So, off the top of my head and from my list, that's thinking of the good points. There's so much more I can't, like, think of, because it's so obvious. If you look at, for example, like, people requested, like, an underground game in so many aspects. The time on the game is dusk to dawn. It's nighttime. You know, there's a lot of things like the map. The map is very varied. If I go to the map here for the people that want to see it, Crescent Mountains, big sweeping roads for people that like Rivals, city streets, kind of more city streets, like, I can't remember exactly. That's like the football arena area. It's got some really cool spots to, like, park your car and just show off. This is the industrial area. This is like a mountainous area, which it's just got every highway around the whole thing. It's got everything you could want on a map for a street racing game. Okay, but as I said, that's most of the things I can think of. Visually stunning. You know, just, like, there's a lot of things that I'll probably miss, as I said. I'm going to feel bad about missing a lot of the things, but I've covered a lot of the main points. The game looks beautiful. The game is beautiful. It's freaking brilliant. But to the negatives. Now, I don't speak of negatives a lot, and the reason for doing that is you have to look at it from my perspective. Watch out for this guy here doing this race. There you go. You have to look at it from my perspective. I have wanted this Need for Speed since 2008. Something like it. It's not perfect, as I have stated, but it is damn fucking close, and it's back on the right track to being Need for Speed again. It is Need for Speed again. It is, like, if you've got to remember, this is built from the ground up. So, say for example, which is going to be my first point, The AI is a little bit inconsistent in areas. So this is the first game in like making this type of game. Like Ghost are a new studio, and obviously the AI is a little bit rough in some areas. The rubber banding, me, don't care, like it. In a Need for Speed arcade racing game in general, rubber banding needs to be the case. It does sometimes, though, act a little bit weird. You've got races where it becomes massively difficult, and then the next race is really piss easy, and it's like, they need to like think about that whole system. The rubber banding in general is just a bit aggressive. Like you can like fly ahead of everybody from then crashing, for them to take back up to you in a matter of seconds, which is not good. In general, it should be nerfed in that aspect, which can be done with an update, which is why I'm happy at the whole like living world thing they're trying to aim for in this game, in where they're going to live update the game. But yeah, as I said, the AI is a little bit rough in areas, but it is much better than being smashed by weapons and stuff like in Rivals, and just, I don't know, in general it's good. Now, minor things such as lights that pop up, not pop up, being popped up because of how the cars are programmed. Little minor glitches like that. I've not run into any massive bugs. I need to watch out for this guy again. The only bugs I've really hit would be... Oh, shit. The only bugs I've really hit would be like little things in where pop-up headlights, when you replace pop-up headlights with normal lights, they sometimes try and pop up. But... I mean, if you compare to Rivals, in where the game was literally almost unplayable for most people, like you would fall through the map, you would fly up into the sky after taking a little bit of a dirt road, you would have cops come after you for no reason. That's not a bug, but that's just like a game design flaw. There was a lot of issues with Rivals, and for this, it's like as if there's literally none compared to it. So, anyway. The next one would be some cars in the customization have a few parts, which is not good. I wish a lot more cars had more customization. It's most of the tuner cars that have customization, which makes sense. Number one, they've got more parts in general. Number two, the makers of the kits for like Liberty Walk and the popular kits are for those cars. And then you've obviously got the ability for them to make their own, which they have done, which the ones they do make are really nice. Like some of the newer cars, for example, when there's not really any kits in general, they make their own. And again, you've got to remember, this has got to be a balance of, this is their first proper game. This is the Need for Speed. Like, if this Need for Speed did awful, it probably would have been the end for Need for Speed. So, we don't know the sales numbers, but I assume it's going to be better than Rivals, that's for sure, which is a good thing. So, in the future, in updates, in the next games, we're going to get more things. For example, we're going to get brake caliper customizations and brake disc customizations in the next update. Not the next update specifically, so one of the next updates. It's basically very, very soon. And I know that for sure. Let's go back to the garage and drive something else. But, yeah, that's something that I'm obviously expecting to see in the future. We're going to get more cars and more customization in general. Phone. The phone can be a little bit annoying. This sounds like a nitpicky one, but they do ring you too much. I understand them ringing you, that's fine, but when you repeat calls because you haven't, gone to their race in a while, when you've got 5 separate stories, it becomes a little bit annoying. And also, do not repeat calls just because I've restarted the game. That's annoying. I already know, like, what you've told me to do. It's on the map. I can see it on the pause menu. You don't need to ring me. And the next thing is be able to mute calls overall in general, if that's the case, if it makes it easier to make that a thing. Like GTA, you can mute the phone, and, yeah. So that's the phone. The Cops AI, as I said, the Cops AI is a little bit easy from time to time. It needs to have the rubber banding that the AI have, I would say. When you get to the higher difficulties, it definitely does, especially when you get more performance cars, like my Lamborghini, for example. The cops, like, they won't even bother chasing me in this because it's too fast. I mean, that might be a design choice. It probably is not. But, I mean, I just wish they would keep up a little more. I know they're in Crown Vics, and I know it's like, why the fuck are they keeping up with the Lamborghini? I want them to. It's Need for Speed. It's how it's always been. Rubber banding in the Cops in Most Wanted was probably a massive thing. I can't remember exactly because I haven't, like, played a lot of it recently, but they need the AI rubber banding, basically. So then we've got the one thing that I think ghosts definitely need to change. Now, as I said, I praised the handling slider. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. I love the handling slider. You can make some like drag cars in general. You can make some next level drift cars. You can make some absolutely awesome grip cars. You can make a balance of both. It's completely up to you. But people are confused. A lot of people just use the master slider and are very confused that don't know that you can generally just tweak things to the left and it doesn't make it a drift car. Need for Speed is a simple game. It's made to be simple. It's always been simple. It's an arcade race. It's made to pick up and play, but also has a little bit of detail in where people know, like, if some people know about something, it will be in there. There's gearheads there, if that makes sense. But a lot of people do get a bit confused by the sliders. They don't understand it exactly. So the way I'm thinking about it, there's a few ways for them to fix this. Sharing of your tunes. So share your tunes, and hopefully as well in the future, share your visual customizations as well on like a storefront or like something like Midnight Club, a marketplace, in where you go through Rate My Ride. You can go through rate people's cars. Maybe they'll get a rep kickback for doing that, and also you can have the ability to buy cars and the person gets a money kickback for people buying a duplicate of their car. Or maybe just put it up in general. I would personally prefer them to put it up in general. So say I spent like 2 hours building a car, I then set the price of the car to give me 300k, and someone bought it, I would be over the moon more so than if I put it up and people just had duplicates of my car. I don't know. And maybe obviously let people buy your vinyls as well separately. I don't know. You've got to think about it. Personally, I would prefer the whole buying one car in general and just buying, setting its worth yourself, and maybe like a bonus on top of it yourself, something like that. So there's that. Then there is, as I was speaking about a second ago, there needs to be, as I said, people are confused by the handling slider. There needs to be either a community uploaded thing for the handling, like handling tunes, people can name them like grip by whoever, or there needs to be presets by Ghost. And then the other idea I had is literally just throw a tutorial in there. I know there's text tutorials, but maybe like throw in like an extra button, say you press square while in the menu, and it will throw up a video and it will explain everything. And you can say, if you put this slider to the left, you can, for example, get yourself more turning angle, and people will be like, oh, I can get it to turn a lot faster, and they'll do it. Or maybe like, you know, just an introduction at the beginning of the game for new people that do end up picking up the game. Next up, we have traffic. Now you can see there isn't a lot of traffic here. I'm on the highway, there should be a lot more. I know it's nighttime, that I appreciate. There should be not much traffic at all generally, but on highways and main roads there should be more. And in general places there should be a little bit more. In some places, like, there's a lot of traffic at times, but like this, for example, that if that was a constant flow of traffic, like there's one car, like this, if there was more of this but both sides of the road, that would be enough traffic for me in most areas. Obviously I want a bit more in highways and main roads. And then the couple of little things I've got at the end of this. No manual transmission. Now this is something that a lot of people complain, that there was no manual transmission in Need for Speed. And to be fair to the series, it's not had manual transmission in donkey's years. And you've got to think that they've added so much more that we want that's more important. Like, would you rather have rivals with manual transmission? No, you'd want everything else, then add on the manual transmission. They're looking at it within updates. This is something that's good about the whole, you know, it's a living world. They're going to update it, live updates. They're going to look at things like this. Transmission, wheel support. They're going to see how many people actually want it, and then add it in if people really want that more so than, say, other things. So, manual transmission, it would have been nice. I would very much like manual transmission. It would like make it a little bit more on edge. Personally, I've never really used manual transmission in Need for Speed except like Carbon and stuff. These recent games, this still has the recent Need for Speed like high speed action feel. So it might be a little bit off-putting to most players. I would say about 5% would probably use manual transmission permanently. But, you know, I'd like to see it. And wheel support, I don't care. I'm not going to use my wheel on Need for Speed. Like, there's no way I'm moving my wheel like this every 2 seconds on Need for Speed. That's just ridiculous. So, wheel for me, I don't care. But honestly, that's all I can think of. Need for Speed does have some bad points, and it has more good points. That's the general idea I'm trying to give here. It is a massive, massive leap forward back in... It's like Need for Speed as if like went off and then it just went, whoa, it's just done that. It's back. It's beautiful. It's fun. Again, Need for Speed is fun again. And that's good. They've catered to people that like Rivals. They've catered to people that like the Most Wanted, Underground, Carbons, everything. Like anyone in the series that like has played one game will enjoy this Need for Speed. That's what Ghosts have aimed for, and that's what Ghosts have done. Another complaint that I see a lot is Cockpit View, and again, that's another complaint that just go away. You will not play Need for Speed in Cockpit View. Like this, maybe in a street build you would play for it, but if like for example, you don't know, like. It's just a bit much. Like they're gonna detail all the interiors of all the cars. That would probably cut the car list in half because it's the vehicle designer people doing that. And then you've got, you know, obviously the fact that it would generally have less parts on the cars than we already have. And it's like, I'd rather have more cars and more parts on those cars. Less cars and more parts on those cars in general as well. That was something Ghost actually asked us. Do you want more cars or more parts for good, you know, a decent selection of cars? It's a no-brainer to me. I mean, I don't want another... I don't want, for example, this to basically be Forza. And that's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, Forza's better. And that's fine. But I love me an arcade racer. Full-on arcade racer. With crazy upgrades that are just unimaginable. That's not impossible to play once you get to a certain horsepower amount. That lets you drift whatever you want to drift. It doesn't matter if it's a different drivetrain. That lets you enjoy a game. It's a game. Now, for those people that actually followed this all the way through, you're insane. And I don't expect everyone to do so. I don't even know how long this video is. I'm looking at my watch assuming it's going to tell me how long I've been actually recording. But in general, I don't care. This video, it was just to say that for the 1% that just want to know what Need for Speed is like from a person that's been in the Need for Speed grind, trying to get it better since I joined YouTube. And we're here. Now, I'm excited for the future of this game. I'm excited for the future of this series. I'm excited to be playing Need for Speed, and my logo's in it. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you did enjoy and watch it all the way, be sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. And I apologize again for this being so long, but I needed to get everything out that I can think of right now. I probably missed out a million things, so let me know in the comments, what do you guys want to see in the future of Need for Speed? What do you like? Do you dislike? And are you happy with this game? So, you've got to compare this game to Hot Pursuit, to Rivals, to Most Wanted, to The Run. Those are the recent games. Most Wanted 2012. And then you see, it's back. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Gadget.